The next step in getting our AdSense site set up is to go and do some keyword research. Now, you should have decided on a niche for your first website, and to be honest, it doesn't matter what niche you choose. The research we do on the keywords is going to be what determines how successful our site is from getting traffic from the search engines. Now, there are other ways to get traffic to your site, and we're going to go over some of those, but you do want to make it search engine friendly so that you get some free traffic as well. Okay, so choose a niche. In this case, I'm going to go with classic cars. So what we're going to do is we're going to find keywords for classic cars. So just type in your main keyword there, and of course you're going to have to put in the CAPTCHA code down here, and then click Get Keyword Ideas. Okay, and then it comes up with a list for us here. Now what you're looking at here is the global search volume for these keywords. And what you're going to want are keywords that have more than 1,000 searches a month. This is step one. Okay, so there's a whole lot of them here. So what you're going to want to do is add all of those keywords that are over 1,000 into the list on the side. To do that, all you have to do is click there and the keyword appears over there. So just do that with all the keywords over 1,000 searches globally in the previous month. Just keep on going, get all the ones over 1,000 in there. Okay, so now I have a big list of keywords here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to download them, and I'm going to download them as text. So just click on text here, and a window like this comes up. And if you open it with Notepad, it comes up like that. So what you can do now is just save this, do a save as, and save it to your desktop. Okay, now there's another stage to this part of keyword research. We haven't really done much research yet. All we did was get a list of keywords. But the next thing we need to do is get the competition for these keywords. Now, to do that, what we do is we pick the keyword. Then we go to google.com and we paste that right in here and put double quotes around it. This is what's called an exact match. Okay, so click on that. And then what you want to do is look up here and see how many sites are available here. And it says 127,000. We're looking for 30,000 or less here. So we know that we're not going to target that keyword. So let's just erase that and then continue down the list with all of these keywords and get the keywords that only have 30,000 or less for competition. That's going to be what you're going to do to research the keywords you're going to use. So that's going to take a little bit of time, but it is very important that you do this because that's what's going to help you get ranked in the search engines. Okay, so when I've gone through that process, this is the list of keywords I have. Now, admittedly, I didn't go through them all here because I'm doing a tutorial. But what I would try to do is get all the keywords that I had on the list researched. Now, what these are for is to write our articles. We need to know what to write the articles about. So you can either write articles, you can have articles written, and you can even buy PLR articles, private label rights articles. And then you can modify them to have these keywords in them. There are two different ways to approach getting a domain name for your site. First of all, you can get a domain name that is specific for your niche. So in my case, it's classic cars. So what I would want to do is get a domain name that has my main keyword in it. So what I would do is go to GoDaddy or one of the domain registrars. I do classic cars. And there are different variations on this. And then I would do a search. Now this obviously is not going to be there, but if I do a search, it'll give me some alternatives here. So if I like any of these, that's fine. I can go and register them. But I can also go and do some more searches until I find something that works for me. So basically, you're just going to search until you find something with your main keyword in it. You can use dashes as well to try and find a domain name that fits. Now, the other way to do it is to use one domain name for all of your sites. To do this, what you have to do is register what I'll call a general purpose domain name. So an example of a general purpose domain name that I have is thebestinfoon.info. So what I do is I create a subdirectory or a subdomain on my main domain with my keyword in it. So it would look like this: thebestinfoon.info/classic cars. Now I could have a dash in there, so it would be classic dash cars, or I could do classic cars. And I would do that for each of my sites. There are advantages and disadvantages to each. For instance, if you create a domain name for each of your sites, you can actually flip that site to make more money on it once you get it generating a little bit of revenue. However, if you're going to use a general purpose domain name, you would have to sell all your sites in a bundle if you're going to sell them at all on that one domain. So you need to keep that in mind. There's some question about the search engine friendliness of when you use a general purpose domain. Now, I haven't experienced any negative effects, but it's up for question whether you'd get better search engine rankings with a domain name that's specifically for your site. So keep that in mind when you are choosing a domain name. Of course, once you choose a domain name, you're going to have to use a hosting provider, and they will guide you through how to set up your domain to point at the hosting account. In the resources document, I've given you some choices for hosting providers and domain registrars. Now, there are a couple different ways to approach creating your site. One is to create a traditional site using a site template. You can go to a site like oswd.org that you see in front of you here. You can find a template and you can use that template. Now, there are disadvantages to this. First of all, every time you create a new page, you're going to have to do manual linking to that page, and you're going to have to create the menu on the side manually and have it point to your new page. Now, this isn't difficult at all. However, it does have a little bit of disadvantage because you do have to have some manual intervention to create these different pages on your site. Also, the search engine friendliness of these templates is all up to you to put in there. So they don't really come search engine optimized. You're going to have to do the work to do that. Now, the other route you can go is to go to WordPress. WordPress.org does a lot of these things for you. It'll do all the site linking for you. You can make it more search engine friendly. You can set it up to notify Google Sitemaps. There's all kinds of things you can do if you use WordPress. So which direction you want to go is entirely up to you, but I do recommend that you use WordPress. Now, whichever route you go, you need to be selective about what type of templates you use. In order to get the most out of WordPress, you need a very simple template. You don't want to be distracting people with graphics and a layout that has them looking all over the place. People have a tendency to read from left to right, so the less distractions you have, the better. So keep that in mind when choosing which type of site you're going to use and which type of template you're going to use. In the next video, I'm going to go over the correct way to make your site. So I'm going to do an example of both a traditional site and a site created using WordPress.